You're welcome back to Data Analysis with Power BI. Today, we'll continue from where we stopped. I have already renamed the product table and the sales table. Just right click on the name and you could just do that just as we did for the customers table, the sales rep table, and the location previously. Now, for the product table, we discovered that what we need in the product table are the product. We could scroll there to the point where we need the product ID, the category, the subcategory, the product name. Those are the columns that we require. So you click on choose column from the home tab. Now unselect all the present active columns and then scroll down and choose the product ID, the category, the subcategory, and the product name. Once you do that and you say OK, now you have been able to create a new table which contains only the items that are related to the product. And finally, the sales. The sales here shows us all the entities that are related to our data. That is, they are facts that could be measured or are related in one way to the data set. Now, of which this table we require the order ID, the order date, the sales date, the ship mode, the customer ID. Definitely, we will also require the sales rep ID that uniquely identify. Remember, the customer ID uniquely identify a customer. Then the sales rep ID uniquely identify the sales rep. Then we need the location ID that uniquely identifies a particular location. We also need the product ID that uniquely identifies a product. Then we need our other values which are measurable. That is the sales, the quantity, the discount, and the profit. All these are what we require on the sales table. So we say choose column, and you would want to uncheck all, but in this method we may decide to uncheck individually, but I would uncheck all and check my order ID, my order date, my ship date, my ship mode, my customer ID that uniquely identifies a customer, my sales rep ID that uniquely identifies a sale manager, then a location ID that uniquely identifies the location of a product or a customer, then a product ID that uniquely identifies a product. Then we want to pick our sales, which is a quantity for us to measure. Then the quantity, the discount, and the profit. With this, we have captured all the necessary details for our sales table. So you say, okay, now you could see that we have all the details that are required in the sales table. Doing this, you have successfully modeled this data into different forms whereby you can uniquely identify a customer by a customer ID, a product by a product ID, then a sales rep by a sales rep ID. Then we are also able to identify all the various quantities that are required to be measured. So with this, we can say close and apply while we wait for Power Query to load our individual tables into Power BI. With this, we'll continue in subsequent videos where we'll see how our relationships are built in Power BI. Thank you very much and see you in the next one.